forgot to make my tea. Hello, Enrico. Hello, Small Knight. Hello, Hybrid Low. Were you looking for something to blame? Oh, I am never. I learned roughly when I was your age, Small Knight. I learned that if we own everything that we think is wrong in our lives, we have the power to change it. I would, Enrico, if I wouldn't die from it. I am losing weight at an alarming rate. It's very disturbing. What's your age? Well, it's roughly the same as my age was when I had my realization, Small Knight. I'm not gonna out your age on stream. You guys can, because you're so wonderful. Here you go. But it's not the same. So I don't generally bother linking to the music stuff because I kind of just flip through it. Some people have asked, and I've sent PMs to people if I've had energy to do it, right? But generally, I don't sort of just keep track of what it is. I just have things on in the background. I'll flick through. It's all good. Okay, let's see. Locus of control. Is this like the end of days? Locus control. Focus of control and malarkey, but it's fun to make excuses sometimes. Yeah, as long as we know that's what we're doing, right? And now that I understand, right? That I understand. But it feels... I should probably just set up the bot to have this information, but I just can't be bothered to update on a daily basis, right? Could be part of like a setup, maybe. I don't know. Generally, what we're listening to is this, game chops, or some lo-fi stuff. It's not really too much excitement around that, I suppose. Well, no, I would have to set that up, right? It's not that bad. I just have to do add, command, music. Like that, maybe? No, not like that. So yes, today we're gonna work on global event handlers. We're gonna do some event handling, right? It wouldn't work, you say, because the moment that component loses focus, that would no longer get the events. So instead, we have two things to do before we release this now. Let's see, we have bugs round 1. So all this stuff is done. These things, that one is going to be a fun exercise to do. This is the bug, and then feature global event handler. These two are what's outstanding before we go public with this. And I have to come up with an example to build for this. Around 2016, I started with Rust. I have to come up with an example application to build with this. I want to showcase something nice, right? So there's a lot of things that we can build. We can make a game, but a game isn't really that interesting, and it's a massive time sink. We could do a drawing app, but that feels a little bit boring. So I'm going to have to come up with something that looks good to showcase this, but also behaves in an interesting way, right? So we're going to have a little bit, you know. We're building a terminal user interface library, right? I can do this, maybe. And we're gonna rewrite this thing, right? But if you go here and you click on this link here, we can see just a little bit. But we're gonna add some screenshots to this. I patched or I updated this a little bit. I didn't push it, maybe. Whoops. Are we not in Tmux? We were not, right? All right. Let's commit this. What a useful push that is. Comment. So around that time, one of the first things I built was an application to sort for photographs by its EXIF information. So it's an application called photo import. So you write photo import and then point at a directory. It would take all the pictures in there and then create a hierarchy of year, date, pictures. You had the year, the full date, and then the pictures in there, right? And you would just sort it, right? And that was like the first thing I wrote in Rust that I used a lot. I used to be a photographer or a hobby photographer, right? Morning. And so a lot of the stuff I did was around photography. I think it was maybe like let's see if there's like a, does it create the crates? Let's see if I can remember. No. So I think, can we see the versions of this thing? One version. 8 years ago. Well, I don't. Yeah, this could have been the app, the one I used. So about 8 years ago, then. From now, since I built that. But before that, I obviously started learning Rust. Libra, this guy is clearly into photography as well. GitLab. I think it was this. We have to give this a little bit of love, maybe. There we go. I mean, it's not that important or relevant. This feels pretty snappy compared to GitHub. This just felt very snappy. This is like instant. Why is GitLab so snappy all of a sudden? Look how quick this is. Click. 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 And then you go here, right? And then it's click, click, click. There's a significant performance difference between these two. This one almost feels instant, right? Yeah, I don't know what they've done to soil itself, but there you go, right? Okay, so today we're gonna build a global event handler. fix a bug or finish an implementation rather. And then we can start on the demo application that it's going to showcase the power of anathema and hopefully be something we can use to, well, inevitably I will discover bugs, right? That's just how life is. But hopefully this can be used to showcase anathema, and then we can finally release this into the wild, jank the old versions, and yeah. And then we can open up the floodgates by enabling issues. We're gonna write a contribute file as well and set up issue templates on GitHub. But that's just the thing. You know what, Caleb? I felt so embarrassed after our conversation the other day that I actually went in and I did it. Okay. I went in and did it. I forgot to sign this one. Updated intro. We updated the intro. Okay, let's do this. Let's do a git commit amend updated intro. All right, and no, save it please. And then we're gonna do git push dash s dash f. Right, there we go. No, can we not do dash s to sign? Or do I have to do that in my commit maybe? Do I have to do like that? Okay, and then git push. There we go. Maybe that's it. I would love this type of calendar this year. Oh my god. Okay. All right, let's see if that fixes. There you go. Right. So I need to set it to always sign. Yeah. So you can do that by doing git config. Is it config global? Let's set it up. Set git to always sign. Git config commit gpg. Okay, so we want to do that, right? But we want to do git config global gpg sign. There we go. So git config global. Is it always gpg sign commit? Can we tab complete this thing? Like that, maybe. We have to set the things. I obviously have the signing key done, but yeah, I think this is what I needed to set for it to actually do what. So I already had the signing key set up, but I don't use GPG. All right, I invented my own cryptography based on ROT13 and like Caesar ciphers, and I sign with that. And my public key is always the letter plur. Okay. Right, now that we've done making shit up, let's go and do some programming, right? So we're gonna attach to the runtime a global new event. Actually, we can do should we put the, I feel like the event handler here could be, so we have like a pub trait global events, something like that, right? So we're gonna insert global events, and now the question is, what do we want to give access to on global events, right? So we can have global event handler. It's going to be something that implements global events, right? So we're going to move this restriction to here instead. And now when we do this, we're going to have a new function where we pass in. Let's do that instead. Let's change the name to global or global events. Probably shouldn't use too many letters. I'm clearly struggling to type, right? Okay, so now we just have to call new here. And we're going to pass in. No, hang on. You're good. So let's set G here to be generic over G. There we go. So we need to install an event handler here. Global events G, but we could default that to a unit, couldn't we? Nope, we cannot do that on functions. So let's not do it that way then. Instead, we are gonna attach this to runtime. Hello, Previs. How you doing? Traveling to my home today. That's cool. I'm gonna be out around 1 o'clock-ish though, so I'm not home to hang out. But then I'll be back after probably around like 2 or 3 o'clock. I don't know if that's true. Do we have a new one for this? So here we go, right? We're gonna set that as the global event handler. So let's go to events and we're gonna import global events for a unit. All right, so this one is deprecated. We're gonna bin this now. There's been enough work here happening for us to do that. Whereabouts are you going in London, by the way, Privan? You're going everywhere. Well, that's Paddington. Okay, so you're going to be down there. Well, then you're walking around. Okay. Do you have like a plan? So it takes about a lifetime to explore London. So I would obviously say stick to like North London when you're done with Central, right? You like go and visit Soho and all that, right? Oxford Street if you like large crowds and all that, right? So you can visit all the stuff in like Central London. If you want a little bit more like chill and calm, then you can travel north. Go to Camden Town. It's worth looking at it, even if you have no interest in the culture. It's kind of cool to see. I mean, assuming if you haven't been before, right? If you've been there several times, then you know it's going to be boring. I don't know how many times you've been there, but if you've never been to London, you should definitely go and visit Camden Town. It's kind of funny. Last concert I went to was in Kentish Town, which was Manu Chao. Oh, if you're gonna China market, then you're gonna be where I used to work, which is I'm assuming close to Chinatown, then, right? which is close to Covent Garden and Piccadilly, right? So walking around there is kind of nice, right? Camden Town. It's on the Northern Line, so you just hop on the tube, take the black line north, right? Line cement and transcribe. Very good. But yeah, you're gonna be where I used to work, which was a large building just before Chinatown, right? Well, I would never call Camden nice. We used to go drinking there sometimes, but it's one of those it's one of those places you should at least visit if you go to London, just because of its like weird culture. We used to go drinking there as well. Go for pints. There's like the Devonshire Arms, where I was not allowed in because I was wearing a suit. I just come from like a work outing. And they're like, the dude at the door is like, now we got dress code. And I was wearing a suit, and it's like, no. You're not goth enough to be here. But yeah, it's pretty chill. And then if you continue north, you get to like Belsize Park and Hampstead and Primrose Hill, which are like really nice areas, but they're probably quite boring if you're in your 20s. So I think you don't necessarily have to go further north than Camden, right? If I wear a suit, you will fire me. That seems alright. Fired from Twitch. Oh my god, you're gonna give me a panic attack. Imagine that. Oh, shit. I know this game. Well, no, I don't. It's not the taxi game. No. Oh, this is like one of those... Oh, what's it called? It's an indie game circa 2021, 22. No one watched me on YouTube, Enrico. I streamed twice on YouTube only, and no one watched it. Oh, man, this is... It's either the adventure game or the rogue-like game. Did you? Did you see the 2 streams I did on YouTube only? It was only Skylar there chatting with me. And you, Safe. Alright. No, it's not that game then. Okay, I'm mistaken. It was never going to be Double Dragon. I just wanted to get some... Family computer. What the hell is family computer? Ooh, I bet we're gonna get this middle or this bottom right tile now. Nah. Hello, Modprog. This is true, but that means that there are 2 videos that a lot of people have never seen. They're not very interesting because I'm just talking to myself, since there was like barely anyone watching it. Ah, damn it. Okay. This game is known for how difficult it is. I have never played this game. Certainly not 2020, but very cool game art, right? Dude's been working out with a sword. Apparently, these games are notoriously hard, right? Okay. What were we doing? So we need to store the runtime on the event handler here. Global events. Famicom. Oh, really? Is that what Famicom is short for? I never knew that. I never knew the Famicom was short for family computer. Well, you live and you learn, right? What? Oh man. I feel like my whole life has been wasted. Unrelated. Okay, so we're gonna have a function here called set event handler. Or maybe we just call it global event. And take ownership of self. And we're gonna change the type here. All right, now we need to grab all of this. Oh yeah, I can't do that. Component registry, reg backend. Oh. There you go. Right. So we can now set the global events whenever, right? Thank you, Cat Peasant. Thanks for hanging out. I have the YouTubes open for those of you who can't watch on Twitch. Although, obviously, you can't say anything to that, can you? If you don't know where to watch. Well, that sentence made no sense. Sorry. It's a day. Let's take the watch off for a second. What should we make for the demo? Maybe like the world's most elaborate to-do application, right? We're not going to do that. That seems really boring and stupid. No field called event handler. What's it called? Global events then? Yeah. All right. Then we're going to rename this to global events. Then the runtime that we return, well, that should be okay. Expected event handler. What? Why am I being so stupid right now? That's G. Global events is... Oh! Right. Ha! Event handler. New. There we go. Now we just have to make this thing implement global events. That means a trait bound on G. Okay, so we almost have this thing now. So when we create the builder, we're just going to set global events to a unit. So there we go. So now we can decide on our event handler. This is going swimmingly, isn't it? Now the question is, we could implement like a default event handler for the unit type. So global events is handled entirely by this. And doing things like Control C to quit, if we install a new event handler, maybe we don't default to Control C for quit, and we just take that out. So that's not part of anything other than like the default event handler. So it's only if you actually need one where you will use it. So let's find global events. Global event. So it's gonna sort of look like this for the handle. It's gonna take this function. We're gonna give ourselves a handle with a mutable reference to self. Why do we need the... I don't think we need the backend for this thing. We might need the lifetime there. What am I missing? Why am I blind? We open that. All right, I'm missing the closing brackets for the actual trait. Idiot. I don't think we need the back end. Like that. And then if we look at the global event handling, so we do like this quit test, but instead of doing this here, do away with this once we add a global event. Okay, well, that's literally what we're doing now, right? So instead of asking the backend for a quit test, we can check for a Control C. All right. Let's go to our backend. Actually, let's do this in another window instead. We're gonna get rid of quit test from our code base. If event matches quit stop, no. Do away with that. This, however, that's also like an event stop. We're gonna get rid of that too. So then here we just match on, or say if let I don't know where this stop thing is gonna come from, but this is what we want to watch. Key event. So we want to look at Control C. Don't do any of these things. The stop thing here baffles me a little bit. I can't, Priven. It's not possible. See these what? See these what? See these see these I don't get it. See these see these nuts. Oh my god, you got me. Oh my god. I did not see that coming. I must be new to the internet. Thank you for being so understanding. Cultural. And then we also want to look at the key code. So the code is key code car C, like so. We should never actually have anything else here. There we go. Ligma what? What's Ligma? Ligma what? I don't understand. What's this Ligma you speak of? Is this like a new thing? Is it like an app? Is Ligma the new killer app? Where do I get it? How can I Ligma? Stop being sarcastic. I don't know why that's funny, but it is. Ooh, shoulder pain. Here we go. We're gonna have some shoulder pain. Okay, so now we're gonna install our global event handler, and we're gonna call handle on this thing. And then we have the tabbing between components as well. Can we move this into... Damn, that's a lot going on. I guess we have to sort of do this. And we can change this to if let is equal to event. Not even RA can untangle this mess. There we go. Okay, that works. Hello, Rebel. How you doing? Very good, Opus. No one, Enrico, because you didn't give anyone any errors to look at. They're on Discord. Yeah, but we're not on Discord. I've heard that Discord gives you like brain dolphins that are dirty tuna killers, right? That makes sense. We go with it. Now, if you install a global event handler, should we... Should we just have tabbing in here by default, right? So we do like a tab test. Does this return anything? It returns none. Oh yeah, because it does that. Option event. Right, so we do that after this thing. We do self.tab. then we have this here by default. Okay. We have a global event handler, and we should probably explain how this thing works, shouldn't we? Although I'm not loving the idea of doing this. Morning Temporis. Maybe we just do Control-C quit. And you can override those. And then we actually give the handle function something very different. Control-C. No, that's a tab event. Let's just hide that. Wow, what a beautiful column of code. Truly a masterpiece. What are you complaining about? Remove this semicolon. Don't tell me what to do, Rust. What do you got on the menu today, Temporis? Hello, Doddy. Nothing. I thought you had like a list of games to play or something. I would prefer this though, Rebel. Right. To that. Okay, so on event we can call no. Shit. Yes. Oh, I see. So you kind of, yeah, that was the thing. You lined up for that one. Oh, man. It's a day, isn't it? No, then you can't implement this thing. What a big dummy I am. Should have used Arch, by the way. Now, that's going to be event stop. So if we get an event here, we're going to return that. So this is if we get none back. No, that's what we need. Elite Dangers. Maybe, yeah. Maybe some of that would be fun, right? So if we get an event back from here, it means it wasn't tabbing. So we need to deal with that. Then we can just do this. Doesn't Elite Dangerous now have this instance where it's an FPS as well? What's that like? I only played this on Xbox One many years ago. I still have it. I just don't remember. That was not available when I was playing it. It was the FPS thing wasn't available. Odyssey. Oh yeah, was that a DLC you had to buy, or is that part of the core game? I wonder if it's become any better. No Man's Sky is supposed to be really good now. I played it very little, but yeah. Oh damn, I'm yawning again, and I've had pizza for breakfast. I'm trying out this thing, right? I don't have it here. So if it's Control C, then we're going to do the tab event thing. And what do we get here? That's an event, right? Yeah. And then handle it, right? "15th expedition." Yeah, I think it's supposed to be, right? You're a turtle. No, I ate pasta bolognese for breakfast and I had an amazing day. So I thought, all right, if I eat a hefty breakfast, I ate pasta bolognese, I'll stream for 10 hours. 10 hours straight with no breaks yesterday. And it was really productive, and I felt really amazing. I felt a bit drained afterwards, and I felt a bit not as good in the evening. And then I woke up today, still feeling drained, and I thought, you know what? If we eat a pizza for breakfast, maybe we can get back into the swing of things with like full on motivation and energy levels and all that. But yeah, I have some of these. I'm making a cake later for the wife because I think she deserves a cake. It's not like a really big cake. It's not like a cake in a cup thing, right? So I'm going to put some of that on top. I would like to try hotels, but I don't want to invest in it. I don't have any games to play. So I would have to buy some games as well. I think it'd probably be quite fun, but then I don't know how long it would be fun for, right? You mean a cupcake? No, a cake in a mug, right? No, not this crap. What do we do? Cake in a glass, maybe. This. I'm making this for the... Well, these, I say in plural, but I'm making this for the wife for dessert today. That looks like tiramisu gone wrong, but that's just because of the cocoa dusting. What's going on here? What a lovely backdrop. All right, can't look at this. The murder cake. This is great. Wow, this is really cool. Oh, I love this. That's a great cake. Damn. Tiramisu sad. I think I have about 40 games, if that, in my Steam library. Oh man, I want to make that glass cake now. That was pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find that again. Cake in a glass. I'm gonna send a picture to someone I know who likes these things, right? Let's just go and find that again. There you go, right? Let's view this file. Copy this. Where should we put this? We should make actually we can just put it here. There we go, all right. Cool cake. There we go. Noted. Yeah, I played Hollow Knight. Pretty decent. Oh yeah, I remember was it you and I that talked about this a while ago? I looked at these things and they were like 350 to 700 pounds for one. I'm like, okay, we're not doing that. That's a pretty strong flex, Priven. Is it your first time going to London? Or have you been before? Oh, I'm sure it's good enough, right? It's really difficult to answer no when I said, is it your first time or have you been before? So I don't know what you're answering no to. No, it's your first time, or no, I have been before. Or it's a no op. 109 pounds from Amazon right now. Yeah. The thing is, it's having time to play with it as well, right? That's the other thing. You've been there before. Well, okay. In that case, I'm not gonna recommend anything. Feel free to ping me like on Discord if you do want to know something, or not. But yeah, I don't live in London anymore. I haven't lived there for a while. I used to live in Belsize Park, which is a really nice area, and then after that, I moved to Hampstead, which is also a really nice area. But I can't afford that lifestyle anymore. So when do I move to Sweden? Probably never. I will probably never move to Sweden because I don't like the cold. Okay. And if I have any say in it, I will, I will stay away. I've been there a few times though, right? Yeah. It's the equal weather? Nah. I don't know, man. I've been to different areas of Sweden, and different areas of Sweden have different temperatures. It's a very long country, right? It's a very long country. I think like the time it would take you to travel from north to south of Sweden is about the same time it will take you to travel from London to Italy if you were to drive. Sweden is the best. It's a big country located in Denmark. I would actually I would consider living in Denmark, and not just because of the Bulov stuff, right? But I was there last year, and I had a pretty good time. People were kind of friendly, and it was kind of interesting being there. Didn't mind it. Of course you can. No one likes Denmark. I like Denmark. I think Denmark, in my head, Denmark is very flat, but has good gyms, surprisingly decent beaches, decent food, and the Danish people I met were decently nice, right? I think it's a little bit like England and Wales, right? Except you can't really say anything bad about Wales. It's like kicking a puppy. What's the relationship between Denmark and Netherlands? Well, it was at one point, but now when you look at it on Facebook, it says it's complicated. I don't know. Copenhagen is beautiful. Yeah, although I'm not like really into big cities. Big cities doesn't do anything for me. I think big cities are okay. I mean, I love the big cities in Spain though, but big cities are okay when you're young and you want to go and eat the trendy restaurants. You want to get drunk. You want to do shopping. Now I kind of value my solitude more. The Welsh have no problem pointing at the flaws of England. Yeah, but it's a little bit... When that happens, RJ, it's a little bit like someone who's been a programmer for half an hour standing there telling you everything that is wrong in the world of programming, and you just smile and nod. But in your head, you go, oh, man, you don't know what you're talking about, and you're in for a ride, okay? You can't code with your dog. That doesn't make any sense. Totally deserve it. I was drunk in Cardiff once, and this is before I lived in the UK. Before I had moved to the UK, right? So I was in Cardiff. I was drunk, and I was hanging out with some randos, and I remember my drunk is stupid. I said, "Oh, you English are all the same." And it was very quiet after that. And then one of the guys came up to say, "You can't say that." You can't shit on the Welsh, right? They gave you Rob Brydon though, right? And Rob Brydon is a treasure, isn't he? But then is what's that awful guy? What's that awful dude? Is he also Welsh? He was in Gavin and Stacey. He was in Gavin and Stacey. Then he became really famous and turned into a bit of an asshole. I was not born in the UK, Opus, no. James Corden, that's the guy. Is he Welsh? He was all right in Gavin and Stacey. Oh, man. See, there's no coming back from this thing. Right, RJ? Also, come on, man. Uppercase, right? I'm gonna... Nah. I saw, yeah, you know what? Who cares? But yeah. So I honestly, I don't know anything about James Corden. I just know I've just seen like clips of him being awful, and that's it. So I don't know. I mean, when you're making a bunch of clip segments, or when you're seeing like snippets or something, you can paint anyone in any kind of light you want, right? You can make like a clip sequence showing someone being an awful person or a great person, right? And it could all be clips from the same video, right? Very good, Bulab. You missed your enter key? Well, I'm sure she'll come back. Fame went to his head. It seems like it. It seems like that happened. No, I'm really surprised by this, right? It's like one moment he's in Gavin and Stacey as some kind of sidekick, and the next he's got his own talk show in the US. I'm like, what happened? How did this happen, right? I think you can probably make just about anyone big these days. And the thing is, I don't know if it's even fair to so honestly, I don't know, right? I don't want to say that he's a bad person because I've just seen clips portraying him in a bad light. I don't know. Maybe he's really a super sweet dude. What do I know, right? He did co-write it though? Yeah, but writers does not equate to actors or any other talent, right? There's plenty of really good writers out there, show writers that you've never heard of, right? Hello, Skyland. The Americans heard a British accent. Yeah, but that generally turns into villains, doesn't it? What am I looking at here? Oh yeah, the cake. Oh man, how cool is this cake? I want to make this cake. All right, anyway. But it's all fun, right? I can't see Gavin and Stacey appealing to a US audience. No, I don't think so either. Well, it did become a oh, British accent as made by American actors are funny though, right? Because they're always so exaggerated. When you walk the streets of London, for instance, you're gonna hear a whole bunch of different accents, right? There are so many different accents. You don't even know what an English accent is anymore, right? Some people think about like the Queen's English, with the tea drinking English, right? Which is generally the accent of the villains, right? So you know, it'd be like, Higgins, shoot another puppet for me, will you? Right? But when you hear that, when the Americans do the British accent, it's always so exaggerated. It doesn't sound like, I've never met anyone who speaks like that, right? Usually sound Australian. I have been accused of being Australian in a few different countries. They're like, "Are you Australian?" And I'm like, "Do I look like a kangaroo to you, mate?" No. Of course, I don't say that. There are, yeah. I mean, especially because there are so like London. I think the so I don't know if there's any truth to this. This is like one of those things that you hear, right? You hear things in London like you're never more than 10 meters away from a rat. And I don't know if that's someone who's like squealing to the old bill or an actual rodent. And I've heard that 1 in every 8 people is a foreigner in London as well. Which is why the whole thing got so strange when the whole Brexit thing happened. And be like, who voted on this? Like, everyone lives in London. There is no... The UK outside of London, no one cares about that. Sorry, I'm just pushing buttons now. I often confuse South African for Australian. Really? I mean, like, because the Afrikaan accent that comes through is like closer to Dutch, right? And there's yeah, I almost clicked on the pre-one until I saw it was you. How are you still VIP? Okay, I'm going to take that away from you. You tried to rickroll me. Hello, Scott. Hugh Laurie, switch between American and English is scary good. Actually, in that episode of House, when he's pretending to be British, it just sounds weird. He's calling a bunch of hospitals hospitals, and he's pretending to be British. And then he says to the Canadian dude, like, you put the Queen's picture on your money, right? I give you $100 if it's a Rickroll. I don't know if you want to give away $100, right? How am I supposed to know? Or is this the thing where you're singing? Okay, I'll click on it. Exactly. And you can hear that, right? All right. What the hell? Is this a joke? I honestly don't know what I'm looking at here. This is obviously, this has to be a joke. There has to be a joke. I thought it was a good attempt at how Americans think English talk. That was real. Really? So he went up, he slapped the kangaroo and then walked away? Would you... I mean, like, look, you got to put it down, man. Otherwise, it's going to come back for round 2, okay? You end up in a fight, man. You got to make sure that the other person is getting up again, right? You got to beat those kangaroos. Of course not. Tracer from Overwatch. Okay, I want to hear what this sounds like. Tracer from Overwatch. Can we get, like, sound bites from this? Videos. Is this... I mean, okay, why not? Oh, I know someone has that accent. Right, there you go. Very good. Oh yeah, like they're well dangerous, right? And they kick you to death, wouldn't they? They kick you to death in an instant. I would not go up against the kangaroo and be like, oh, you want the dog? You can have the dog. It's your friend now. Okay, I'll get a new dog. All right. Look at that. We even got some. Someone did the effort for me. Could I have another one, please? Is this Oliver Twist? Already. So my friend's kid talks like that. She doesn't say who's next or sniper that frequently, though. Let's move forward. Oh, beautiful. That's funny. Yeah, so, yeah, exactly. Can I have some more? So, the last client I had, where I did some interviews for them, the founder of the company scheduled an interview, if you will. So there's the issue of issue or issue, right? Or same thing with tissue and tissue, right? Anyway, so the founder scheduled an interview with this guy, and the guy doesn't turn up for the interview, and he's texting the founder for an interview. I can't make it, bruv. And something like that. And I'm like, when would you refer to someone as bruv if you're going for an interview with them, right? So if you have an interview with someone, don't refer to them as bruv, gov, or mate, okay? I mean, sometimes mate comes out when you're talking, right? Cheers, mate. All right, it's all right, mate. Don't worry about it. And even if you don't like know the person that well, it sort of comes out anyway. So don't worry about it, mate. You're good, right? Someone bumps into you on the street and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. So don't worry about it, mate. You're right. And then it's all good. But in a job interview, talking to your potential future employee, don't refer to him as bruv, okay? Not even bruh, but bruv, right? Bruv. Or bro, right? That's also pretty good. I think bruv comes out quite a lot in the same way as mate if you are from down south. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. But at the same time, you probably shouldn't say mate to someone you're gonna have a job interview to. That's like, you have to be a little bit more formal, but just at least in the initial step until you have the rapport with the person, right? Can't make it to your sick interview. But yeah, no, I laughed at that. Like, how how chill are you, right? Bournemouth? I don't know. Portsmouth, maybe? Brighton, is that down south enough? Oh, fair enough. I guess, yeah, I mean, I was going to say, I guess you have, but no, I've heard your voice, obviously. Oh, I got a pack. Oh, heck, hang on, sweetie. Okay, all right. Hang on then. Let me see if I can open this without entirely. You're going to be very excited when you see what this is. Check this out.
What is that? Is that a dog?
A dog? No, it's a clamp.
Hmm?
Hmm? We forgot to use that box. All right, don't worry about it. I can put this box in that box. A clamp, it looks like this. So you can mount exactly. That's using a clamp. That's using a clamp. It's a lot of clamps. So when you have a lot of lights and camera gear, you have a lot of clamps because they replace real friends. Yeah, if you ever feel lonely, get a clamp. Thank you so much, sweetie. All right. Yeah, it's not a super clamp. I thought this was a super clamp. But this means that I can free up my. Oh, this is great. I can free up some of my C. Oh my god, what a great design this is. So there's a little bob in there. And let's move it into the light. And if you try to turn it, it gets stuck on the end here. I mean, obviously I could just turn this around, but it just feels like they could have made this a little bit shorter and the problem would have gone away. But it's not a real problem. That is a suspiciously short screw. All right, I was being an idiot. But that's still a very short screw. So I'm not being that much of an idiot. Oh, this is great. Can you detach this and put something else on there? No. Yes, maybe. I don't know. No, I don't think so. Let's just destroy this thing. I've had it for like 5 seconds. We're ready to break it now. No, I don't think you can replace that. Okay. But down under would refer to Australia, right? Oh yeah, so in the south it's not so much, but if you go to somewhere like Yorkshire or maybe Liverpool, there's kind of the accent's gonna be very strong there, right? This is so good. Where have you been my whole life? In the shop, waiting for me to purchase you. I love these things, all right? I have this, which almost beheaded me. This thing weighs several kilos, and all it does is hold up a small light. And it's long, baby. Taking up a lot of space. I can get rid of that and just use this tiny clamp now. And then my life quality will improve significantly. Because I will have more control and a lot less C-stand. But it is a bit awkward how this is put together, I have to say. Clamps. What an amazing invention. Can we unscrew this thing? I feel like we can't unscrew this thing. I think I would destroy it if I did. All right. Let's get back to this thing. Right? Get rid of a shadow here. There we go. Or almost. If I ever visit the UK, I mean, for a hard time, I think you'd be fine. UK is a very nice country to visit, or like that area of Europe, because everyone speaks English, right? You go to Germany and you'd be like, "How you doing?" And they'll be like, "9," and then you have to leave. I can think of only place here where accent dialect, if you will, it's not very hard. I'm trying to remember where you live, selective. Yeah, don't you have like 619 languages roughly where you live? Yeah, that could be that, man. Could be that. No, it's very different now than it was maybe, say, 20 years ago. Young people speak English well enough, but horizontal. Speak German. You something horizontal. I don't know. I don't know, man. I can't unpack that one. All right. Okay, so should we continue implementing global events then before my head falls off? What's the issue here? Okay, so we're gonna have the handle function be an actual thing. So in our global events, we're gonna do something here. Really? No, I was thinking about India. Sorry, in India you have 619 languages. Yeah, no, I know. Sorry, did not mean to insinuate that. I just remember this India that has 619 languages. Okay, so we're gonna have the handle function as part of this. We just need this to do something. So if we do Control C and we get stop, then we're gonna return that event. This is unreachable because this cannot return stop. Actually, it can't, so that's pretty dumb. In Denmark, they have 0 languages. So when you're not a native speaker of a language, it's really hard to pick out accents, though, right? So we want to be able to override Control C, so we can't really do this. All right. So if someone were to override Control C, it would they could return a different event. So here we have to sort of do the same thing. then here we have to return this. I'm working on implementing a global event handler into this UI library that we have, and then hopefully I can fix a bug and we can start implementing a demo application in this. It's basically it's a text user interface library, so terminal applications basically, right? There's this really interesting spot when you're learning a new language. There's this kind of interesting spot where you can almost converse with someone in that language, and you really should practice your, if you know like secondary languages and tertiary languages, you should practice these languages so they die out a little bit in our brains. So it's very fun when you're learning a language and you get somewhere to a situation where you can speak to someone in that language and you can make yourself understood, even if you talk terribly. It's still really nice to be able to make yourself somewhat understood. It's a very, very cool feeling, right? Hopefully we can get events working. So we're gonna make it so that we have a global event handler with some defaults, and you can override these defaults, which means if we end up here, then we have to have a function to handle events. And I think we're gonna put together a function for this. So we have a function called handle. And I don't know what we're going to put in this function yet. So we're just going to do self.handle. Well, we're going to pass in the event, that's for sure. And we're going to return that. So this thing has to return an option of an event. So you can choose to not propagate the event, right? Yeah. So we call handle event here, which returns the option. Here we're also going to return the event. So this one is now done. If we press Control C and we do the tab thing, so here we'd also do self.handle. So here we'll do event and then self. Actually, no, we don't. We do self.handle event here as well. I think that's what we need. This thing takes an event as input, and it has to return an event. Really? So the question is it worth buying Elite Dangerous for... Is it worth buying Elite Dangerous then? Yeah, I guess the question doesn't make sense, does it? Then this thing is truly unreachable. Makes no sense. There we are, right? Oh, come off it, Rust. Honestly. This is one of those things that I can't wait to see fixed. Right? I'm hoping that a mere formality will fix this. I think with the advent of Steam, and if Steam hadn't done it, it would have been something else, of course, right? But we have too many new games being released on a daily basis. Maybe making the barrier of making games so low was a mistake. Obviously not. But we get so many games being released on a daily basis. It's really difficult for game developers, especially if you're a game developer of a high quality game. Your game could probably I'm speculating. I don't know anything. Your game could probably get lost in the noise in that case. Maybe we shouldn't do this here. Maybe we should do this elsewhere. And let's see if we can then... Yeah, I think we're going to do this up here instead when it comes to this. So we're just going to do global events here, right? So self, right. Oh my goodness. Yep. I mean, I know you're making a joke, but I still think that. And I don't understand the irony of that situation either. But we didn't have Steam when you were 6 years old, right? I'm just being silly. But so here we do the global event thing, right? So we're gonna do this instead. That's a crazy huge amount of games. Oh my god. And here I am with my like 40 games or whatever I have. Yeah, I think I'm on par with what Skylar has in terms of game quantity, right? So let's do self dot global events. Actually, we're gonna rename this to global handler. We're just gonna call it global. I like that word more. Self.global dot we're gonna match on control C. What's it? Yep. What a dumb name, but okay. Then we're gonna do this. That's how we're gonna do this. Oh, I have quite a few physical copies of games. I have physical copies of games for DS, Switch, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS2, 3, and 4. I have Skyrim on PS3, and I never really got into it. And I feel like I kind of missed out a little bit. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of games. Yeah, I guess maybe you didn't really grow up in the era of consoles, Skylar. Explain what that means, Doddy. I wanna say yes, but that's just because of my optimism and not because of any facts. Born too late for console. Well, I do think that consoles are pretty much dead. all the consoles get the same games except the Nintendo consoles. There really isn't a reason to own a console anymore. The reason I like consoles is because of the multiplayer aspect of it, meaning I sit in the sofa with my family and we play games together. But the multiplayer games, the couch co-op games aren't really what they used to be. Sometimes an app doesn't want to switch between components and remain on a single component. No, that's a bug, Dottie. That should not happen. If you have a way for me to replicate that, please let me know. That sounds like a terrible bug. Right? We don't want that. No. All right, so we're not going to do the rename this thing. That can go. So we're just going to have Control C and Tab, and we have defaults for these. And we do mouse event too. That's also correct. Right, now we just have to tangle with these things. So this should be global event should be gone. Yeah, Nintendo is actually quite decent for this. I agree with that, Ryuk. Well, the games I've played, they don't seem to have too much of that going on. But I never buy a Game Pass. I gotta be honest with you, I don't even know what Game Pass is. I have no idea what Game Pass gives you or anything. I buy a game, I never buy the gold or deluxe edition or anything like that. I just buy the base game. And if it's fun, I'll buy some DLCs like I did with Borderlands 2. But in general, I don't buy the whole thing, just the base game. I have no idea if that's even remotely true. In my house, yes, because there are two girls here and they don't game on PC. Actually, I don't know these days. Is that what Game Pass is? You get loot boxes. Switch is very good. And I think focusing on the shortcomings of the Switch hardware is missing the point. Because Switch has titles like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. I don't care about Mario Odyssey, but there are Nintendo exclusive games that are really good. Hello, Nando. I can't speak for everyone, but I can try. We're all amazing. Xenoblade 3. I think I bought that, but the English voice pack was so horrible that I stopped playing it. Oops. Yeah. I bought this game, but the voice pack was so bad that I stopped playing it. The girl sounds like she's very much from the north, and she's annoying as well. Not related to being from the north, of course. Yeah, but I never take my Switch anywhere. I did now and then when we go to my mother-in-law and I didn't want to hang out. I would just grab the Switch, but I don't do that much now. And that's because the Joy-Cons crapped out and I couldn't find the receipt, so I couldn't trade in my Joy-Cons for working ones. I did buy a dongle as a recommendation by someone here on my stream years ago, so I could use my PS4 controller with the Switch, and that was a life-changing move. But I don't want to bring all this stuff with me when I go somewhere. No, but that means that there's room for making gems, right? I always think that if you, so maybe it's a naive approach, but if you are truthful and you have ethics and you create something good, then I think it will be successful, right? Not as fast as everything, but look at things like Stardew Valley, right? It's a one-person game. I can only express it as violently successive, right? Successful, because it's such an incredible success of a game, right? Mojang was also a small shop, or it was Sacktronics originally, and then it was owned by Mojang, and that was also a small team, I think. Is Pirate Software proving that you like the Switch Pro controller? How does it do? Sorry, I'm being a dick. I think it's if you are ethical and truthful and you put in the effort, you can make a successful game. However, I don't know how much of this would be succession bias or survival bias or whatever, right? But there are lots of really good games that are also failing. But I don't think we should immediately reach for the unethical option just to improve our chances. Yeah, it's too much of a risk for big studios to do that, though, right? Like you got a tried and tested formula, and if you make it and your sales go down, but they're still turning a profit, then it's fine. You can just keep doing that. There is this, of course, as well. I think when we're talking about spending 5 to 10 years working on a project, living on noodles in your mom's basement, I think financial success means a lot. Even though people loving your game also is good, but I do think not having to eat the noodles anymore is probably part of the success, right? But yeah, absolutely. So this is an option. So we should do let some event else return okay. That takes care of this. Yeah, there is a lot of that. I would love to make a game. I've had a dream of making games since I was a child. And for some stupid reason, I didn't do that. I didn't go into game dev. I did all the other things, but the thing that I sort of dreamt of doing. I think making a game is difficult in the same way that writing a book is difficult or making a movie is difficult. It's a long creative process, and it's full of fear. So let me take an example. Imagine that you have a job, right? So I don't know if this is going to be controversial and this will rub someone the wrong way, but if it does, then I'd like to ask you to toughen up and calm down. Not everything's about you, all right? It's about me, especially this song. If you start making a game, so some people are concerned about the future, right? Take AI, for instance. People are like, oh, AI is going to take my job and AI is going to destroy this and oh, AI that or whatever, right? So it's your job that you're talking about. You have a job, you can get a new job. Your job is not really an investment. It's something you do to get money on a monthly or weekly basis. I don't know what your pay frequency is, but you do your job to get paid. If the product you're working on at your work is disintegrated tomorrow, then worst case scenario, you have to find a new job. Then we take someone who is in a creative space of, say, making games, right? I'm not going to say movies and stuff because I don't think they have the same development length, right? And same thing with a book. But let's take movies, games. So you've been working on a game for 8-9 years. Okay, you haven't released this yet. You are making no money. Then the advent of AI taking our jobs, that's fear. That's a real concern, right? the evolution of technology isn't that much of a concern for those who have a day job as it would be for those who have invested half their lifetime. I guess you were 8 when you started and you're 16 now. Now, for those who have invested 8 or whatever arbitrary number of years, that your fear that your product is never going to see the light of day. And why this fear is even worse for solo developers is because they are alone with their fears. You come into the office one day and you're like, have you seen this AI thing? And like Kevin, your co-worker, is like, yeah, don't worry about it, man. We're not going to buy into that here. And you'd be like, oh, okay, right. It's a little bit concerning, but okay, right? But if you're a solo game dev, you've been alone working on something for 8 years, you really don't have anyone to talk to on a daily basis or anything like that, that has to be real fear. That has to be a real concern, right? I think it's really when you invest that much time in something. And so to put things into perspective, I have no concern. I'm not working on this alone today. There are more people contributing to this thing. By the way, I merged with Main, for those of you who cares. So GitHub, anathema. You're right. You should see your beautiful face down here, right? So we now have more than 7 contributors. Well, no, we have more than 6 developers on there now, right? So I'm not alone, okay? And I've invested maybe 2 years into this project. This project is never going to make me financially successful. I make this because I want this to exist and it brings me joy. And if other people use this, that's super cool as well, right? I want this to exist. This is not something I'm investing my life savings into or anything like that, right? But like I think there's like we can put things into perspective when it comes to the creative process of some people. So, for instance, now Stardew Valley is insanely successful, right? The guy made the game. The graphics are nothing compared to AAA games, proving that graphics is not everything. The game loop is reasonably simple, right? I mean, you could almost replace the game with some kind of point-and-click adventure engine, right? The game isn't... the game loop isn't complex in that sense, right? I hope you understand what I'm saying. Whatever, right? I think it's really, I got some sympathy for people who are working in isolation on these things, right? That's probably why people choose to stream things, because they have a community to talk to about these things. At least there's something like that, right? So I can imagine that it's probably pretty scary being a solo game dev. And it's a lot more safe to work a day job, right? I don't even know why I started rambling about this, but let's move on then, right? It does seem a little bit balked. And yes, we have been messing with colors. Let me see why, I just thought you made a weird color choice. The background is black or gray. How's this supposed to look? Oh, right. I'm in the middle of ruining it. Gotta finish ruining it. It does seem scary, right? And the very idea that 8 years of your life can just become meaningless overnight should someone invent the AI game engine where you could basically take your game design document and insert it there and it would output a game, right? A playable version of your vision. And yeah, you get your game, but you've invested 8 years of it. I don't know why I keep saying 8, but you've invested a large amount of your life into this thing, right? It's very... not only that, then you also have to contend with all the assholes on Steam, right? Like you invested a large portion of your life into this game, and someone goes like, yeah, it's alright, should have more loot boxes, right? Or the game's like, you release your game, it's like, yes, 3,000 people are playing this game, and then like 2 weeks later, no one remembers your game. You've been watching the Concord failure videos? I have not, but they are in my... because I've watched that stupid Sandborn or whatever it was called, Dustborn video, one stupid video. My YouTube list is now so corrupted with crap I don't care about. I don't care about the woke stuff. I don't care if your game supports, I don't know, like gay astronauts. I don't care about these things in video games, right? It's like, don't, whatever, right? But I get so much of this crap now. And you know what comes with this wave of crap? All the anti-crap comes with this. So you got woke people being like, blah, blah, blah. We're gonna be assholes to you if you don't do what we bully you to do. And then you got the other side of it being like, blah, blah, you woke assholes, blah, blah. And it's like, to me, it's just noise. I just want to shut up. No one cares. Don't bring politics into games, right? No one was asking whether the Doom guy is going to vote for Trump or Biden, right? A couple of years ago. No one cared about that. No one cared about human rights in a game about shooting demons. Fuck off with that, right? Nah. Just clear the watch history, but then I lose out on the things that I'm actually interested in, so I have to go through that again. Oh, I'm the only thing I'm subscribed to on YouTube is Uncle Scientist, right? Yes, everyone wants this, Joe Neal. Everyone who's a normal human being wants this, right? Everyone wants this. If you're marginalized, if you walk in the streets and the police pulls up and starts beating on you for how you look, you're not gonna, during the fight, you're gonna be like, oh no, if only there were video games where this wasn't happening. You're gonna be like, no, why is this happening to me now? I don't care about video games at all, right? I don't care about games and movies. They're not reflections of the real world, right? They have nothing. If you think the games and the real world are the same thing, you need to see someone about that, because the borders between reality and fiction are collapsing, and you need to address that. Okay. Life used to be so simple. It used to be so simple because we didn't drink from the fire hose of information. Now our brains aren't designed to cope with the level of information that is flooding it, right? Like, you become desensitized to things. You group yourself with other people to shut out things, and your worldview becomes this narrow perspective where either everyone is a racist, or everyone has to think that this guy is right, otherwise the world is broken. And meanwhile, people are constantly telling each other how the world is ending and everything is worse than it was 20 years ago. No one has any evidence for this, by the way, but it's like, it's just this horrible perspective if you listen to it, right? It's enough to give you an existential crisis waking up in the morning. You wake up, I'm gonna have my coffee, I'm gonna read the news, and then 2 minutes later, your coffee is salty from the crying, right? What conferences and gatherings does the Rust ecosystem have? There's various Rust meetups in the US and Europe. I don't read, and Latin America as well. But I don't really know much about them. I don't attend any of them. There's also like the Rust game dev meetups, I think, and they host things on Twitch too. So I don't think that's the same as the meetups, though. We used to read newspapers with all news and books. Yep. It really is that way, right? Oh, thank you, John Neal. I like to think that I put a little bit of effort into it. Oh, man. Yeah. Now, I think it's healthy. It's healthy to not like engross yourself in the politics of the world when it comes to things like, well, be aware of the necessity of free speech and human rights, but don't think that you're changing the world because you're bullying other people into saying that something is okay that you don't even know about. I have not, Rebel. I don't really consume a lot of programming content these days. I barely watch programming on Twitch. When I'm done streaming, I'm so tired that I go and eat. And if I have the energy to work, then I sit down and I watch whoever I raided Quietly, I lurk in the stream, or I just do nothing until I space out and go to sleep, right? What's going on here? This should be a... This should be a... There we go. Let sum event equals to this, otherwise return okay. Well, I like to think that I can leave the world a better place than when I entered it, but I have a lot of things to make up for from my teenage years. But which is why when I meet people in my community who tell me some story about something and that I was directly or indirectly part of that, I find that incredibly wholesome, and it feels like things are good. I think there's it's an important thing to do, right? Oh yeah, turn off social media and people's stress levels goes down, right? Turn off social media. Don't try to live according to a norm that you can't live by, and your stress level is going to be normalized, right? I mean, obviously, we are temporals. We're going to change the world through the terminal, okay? This is why we're here. No, you don't have to change the world. Just make sure that it's better than make sure that it's in a better state than when you entered it, right? And that doesn't mean that you have to invent the cure for cancer. You don't have to solve world hunger. Just be kind to other people. If you can affect someone else's life positively, or a life or two in some way or another, you've done a pretty good job, right? Done a pretty good job. But Reddit, I used to like Reddit, but I struggle with Reddit now. I struggle with Reddit. So I think Rust got away. Okay, I know people don't think that Rust did get away, but Rust actually did get away. I think new programming communities that are blossoming in this age, the age of the wokeness, are gonna struggle more. We've seen surface, we've seen bits of this in the Rust community. We've seen like sneaking in politics and this kind of thing into the community. We've seen a lot of wokeness around, and the thing is, I don't even know what woke means these days. I don't even know what the definition of this word is anymore, because it's becoming a bad word. But I also don't think that caring about other people is bad. And there is an aspect of caring in there, right? But anyway, the Rust community, if it would have been a few years later, I think it would have been in a worse state. I think building a programming community today is scary. I think that's going to be a lot more politics than not, right? A lot more politics than not. YouTube and Twitch for me now. Yeah, that's Discord as well, but yeah. It's possible to read Reddit without facepalming this once a minute. It's impossible. Yeah, I read that it's possible, and I was going to ask you how. Do you have compiler warning for Anathema on Linux? I have a few on Windows, and wonder if you want a PR of them removed on Windows. Yes, London, that would be pretty good, actually. But wait until I push this change. Hello, Scott. How you doing? What's the music playlist? I really need to get I really need to get a command for this thing. Trying to look, that's me. Trying to reduce social aspects of discrimination, such as police violence. Doesn't woke mean trying? I don't know if that's true anymore, Skylar, because this is good, right? This discrimination, getting rid of discrimination is good. Getting rid of bigotry is good. Getting rid of misogyny is good. But outright claiming that people are bigoted, misogynistic, racist, homophobic, fatphobic, I don't even know what kind of phobic we have anymore, right? We have a lot of them. Like, these aren't really... Get rid of it. Get rid of the violence, get rid of the misogyny, get rid of the bigotry. I'm all for that. But pretending that the bigotry is there when it's not, by misinterpreting and misrepresenting something another person says or does, is bad, okay? So if I make a joke, I can't even think of a joke to make, right? But if I make a joke and someone just takes that as a clip out of context, goes out to say to a group of people, wow, this streamer is racist, let's get him, right? That's just another form of violence, right? That's just another form of bullshit, right? You're not getting rid of racist by calling me a racist, okay? I'm not racist, right? I am a middle-aged white man, but that doesn't automatically make me a racist, right? But if I say something that could be construed as racism, people love that. People love to take some. No one cares about me. I got 12 viewers. No one cares about me. But take someone like Prime or Pirate Software, right? Big streamers. Pirate Software probably more at risk than Prime at this point because he's reached such level of success. If he says something that could remotely be construed as racist, people would love to jump on that, right? And that venomous approach to this thing, that's what's so gross. Like, you're no different than the things you say that you are against, right? You're inciting violence, cancellation, whatever. Like, oh, this guy is a racist, kill him. What did he do? Well, we have a clip here where he says that the color black is bad when he was talking about the background color and foreground color combined or whatever, right? Whatever it is, right? But just take like the black is bad, okay? Oh my God, you're a racist, right? It's like that level of woke is not good. It doesn't do anything. You're not going to convince anyone. You're just going to keep the bubble going. You're going to keep your echo chamber going. And people are going to sit around there patting each other on the back. Yeah, we killed another racist today, right? We've cancelled them off the internet, okay? And there's still plenty of racism, right? If you want to do something, go and box some white power dude in the face somewhere instead, right? Not that you're gonna make him less racist, right? You'll probably make him more racist doing that, but it's just no, man. Oh, thank you. Yeah, and so I don't know if this is true, but people can now hide behind the anti-woke to do bad things, okay? So people can now be bigots and then be like, oh no, we don't do that woke bullshit here, right? Let's just keep the misogyny going. Don't worry about it. That's like, we don't do that. That's also wrong, okay? That's also wrong. Like, just be a normal human being. Don't hate on other people. If they bother you, just ignore them, right? I mean, unless they're like on the tube poking you in the face, right? I mean, it happens. But, you know. All I do is try to call out bullshit when I see it. And yes, I do extra hard to friends. The thing is, I don't even do that, right? If someone says something that is a bit stupid, then I just file it away as it's a bit stupid, right? I don't even say anything to them about it because I'm reasonably confident that the people I surround myself with are for rights of all people. They're not racist. They're not misogynistic. Well, I mean, I'm sorry. I have a wife and a child, right? I mean, they're not gonna. The misogyny levels are very low around here, okay? And on top of that, I'm insanely proud and supportive of my wife, and that's not some woke bullshit. That's me respecting someone who's really impressive, right? If she was a dude, I would be equally impressed. Less married to, but equally impressed with her or him at that point, right? How's it going, Kathy? A bit stupid, ignore complete bullshit is something else. I mean, if your like childhood friend turns up and you'd be like, I'm a skinhead now, and I'm like really into racism, I feel like I found myself, then yeah, you're gonna be like, okay, I'm happy for you, but we can't keep doing this, right? I cut out a lot of people in my life who are bad,
right? And they are either a bad influence on my child, or I don't want to give them the chance to be, or they just take up too much of my energy, right? People who are addicted to drugs and keep making really poor life choices, emotional vampires, these kind of people, I don't have time for them, right? My life is not so empty that I can fit these people in there. Whether they're racist or keep making these bad life decisions, it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna cut them out, right? I'm not gonna try to change them, right? Because we've already done that part, right? I already tried to change people's lives, and when it doesn't work, then I walk away, right? They either die or they disappear from my life, and I'm fine with either, right? I'm not fine with the dying part. That's actually, I got quite a lot of trauma from my childhood. But we're not going to get into that, right? We're not getting into that. But I think, and do you guys notice that you are maybe self-censoring yourself as well? Because it's not very clear where the line is drawn. So we err on the side of caution, right? I know some people in my chat who do not censor themselves, and I have in the past said, no, you can't say that. They're like, that's not okay. But I don't do that anymore, right? I don't police what people say or try to change anyone from how they speak or how they are, right? If you say something that is not overtly racist, right? You say something that I think we can connect the dots and make this offensive to someone if we try. I don't correct that. Right? I don't try. It's not my job, right? I'm not responsible for what you guys say, okay? What you do in the chat or outside of the chat, as long as you're not mean to other people in the chat, that's all, like, that's your thing. You do your thing, right? You guys want to talk about Windows as the greatest operating system ever? Then you have to go. But anything else, right? Anything else, we're good. It's all good. It's all good. Sorry for that tirade. It's a lot easier to just ramble than actually do something. Programming is hard. Talking in programming is even harder. It's a little bit relaxing to just let go of your brain and spew bullshit instead, right? And some people do that better than I do, man. Which is why they have 40,000 subscribers on their YouTube channel and I have 3. But there you go, right? Well, like, there's the self-censor of the crassness, right? Like, we don't have to say shit, mother, right, all the time. There's that kind of censoring I'm okay with doing. But when you're saying things that, oh, if I say this, will I hurt someone's feelings? And the level, like the number of leaps you have to make to even get to whose feelings could I hurt, don't do that, right? I don't think any of you are racist by default. If you say anything racist, then if it's like overtly racist, I say don't do that, man. Don't say that, right? But I don't think any of you are assholes, right? I don't know you, right? You might be, but you haven't shown me that you are so far, right? That, you know what? That's actually quite insightful, Cathay, right? Because someone who, if you ever talk to people in certain countries, it's very common to use the C word, okay? And in some countries, very, very common to drop the F-bomb, right? But when you do that as part of your everyday conversations, it has very little power, right? It has very little meaning, right? So it actually is more meaningful, right? I mean, if you're walking down the street and a preacher turns around and he unleashes a stream of curse words, you're definitely gonna wonder what's up, right? But if an Australian drops the C word, you're not gonna bat an eye, right? Because that's just part of the vocabulary, right? Kevin is an asshole. I don't know what Kevin has done now, but if anyone in chat is named Kevin, I hope you don't feel targeted by that, okay? We gotta self-censor, right? Poor Kevin. All right, I might be missing something. But yeah. No, that's because people don't dare to, right? People don't dare to talk about things, and I understand why. Because no one wants to get in trouble, and no one wants anyone else to get in trouble, right? It's worse if you start self-censoring for political reasons, though, right? But then you live somewhere where free speech is a little bit sketchy right now. I mean, it is, right? I don't particularly enjoy it, okay? If someone curses out, there's a scene in The Wire when they're at that house looking for the bullet. That scene, you guys know the scene I'm talking about, probably, right? Who's right in Elon Musk versus Brazil? I have no idea what that's all about, Monokuma. Hello, Chronex, how you doing? I'm alright, how you going? I heard being born with a C-section as an insult. If you are born from a C-section, you have saved your mother from a lot of issues as well. The thing with the C-section though that can be a little bit uncomfortable, because I've done it on myself though to see what I had for breakfast that day, is that they can sever the muscles and it can be like this spot on your body where you can't feel anything. So the muscles and the nerves, right? That can be a bit weird. There's also something that I think women don't generally talk about when it comes to C-section, and that is that there are some women who feel like they haven't given birth because they had a C-section. And that's a shame that you'd feel that way. That's all right, Pirate Cat. So it's hard to say. I'm not going to get involved in this conversation, but this guy has some hot takes, right? I'm all for free speech, right? I think that's a cornerstone of how it is, but of freedom, right? That you're allowed to express your opinions and political views. But I also think that people don't understand what free speech means, right? Free speech doesn't mean that you should be able to incite violence on a group of people because of their ethnicity, right? That's not utilizing free speech. But I don't know anyone who's qualified of walking these lines, right? It's very easy to say if you incite violence towards a group of people because their ethnicity, then yeah, we shouldn't allow that. Okay, that's a very extreme situation, right? But what about the more nefarious cloak and dagger bullshit, right? Where it's not so easy to discern what the actual messages are. So, yeah. You're free to speak your mind, but not free from the consequences. If the consequences means that you go to prison for saying something that's offensive to another person, then we've lost, right? There's no... I just think that we need to be able to tolerate the internet in the 90s, okay? All right. All right. I'm gonna get on with the programming because it's more interesting than this, I think. All right. So why is this thing? What is this thing doing? Right. Actually, we can probably just do this. So we're gonna do away with this for now. And then what do we get here? We get an option of an event. So then we have to match on this thing as well. Yeah. Like this. No, I kind of yeah, like it is. the problem is, Chronix, that it's very difficult to see what this actually means, right? If this was easy to spot, we wouldn't have debates about it. We would be able to flag it instantly. I did not get my Oasis tickets. Have you done Rust programs with no stud? No. If yes, then how's your experience? I have not. Actually, yes, I have, but it was so many years ago. I don't remember it, and it was in one instance. I went through Phil Opperman's blog posts, not all of them, but some of them, and they're pretty good. I enjoy them, and that was no stud. Yeah, Phil Opperman's blog series is really good. Okay, so we almost have global events now. I'm lacking tea and I have a headache. And by the way, both my child is sick and my wife is starting to complain. And she had a headache yesterday, and now I'm getting a headache. So I think I'm gonna get sick now. Oh, right. So that's gonna be global dot handle. And that's an option. So here we can say, let some event is equal to event else. Whoops. Yes. Else. Now we can bring this in. Right. So now we have a global event handler, and we're going to make sure that we actually handle mouse events in the global event handler. We do. We deal with mouse events here as well. So I think this is now okay. We can now get rid of this. And you can implement the global event handler now, but it's not yet useful, right? It's all good. Just getting sick is part of everything, isn't it? It's a way of also calming down a little bit. I'm streaming every waking hour I have now, almost. When I'm not streaming, I'm eating, or I'm so brain dead that I just lay like a vegetable in the sofa, like I'm watching old TV shows. I watched when your brain can't handle anything new, you start watching things like old Stargate or TNG or something like that, right? You're not woefully invested in the story, and you can sort of take it or leave it, but it's something on while you sort of just don't have the brain energy to think, right? Okay, so we want to be able to do like a real proper handle here, I think. So we're gonna offer some more data into this event here. Time well spent. Colonel O'Neill, come on, man. Indeed, O'Neill. Play well. I wish I had some game. The thing is, for me to play games, I have to come down here into the underworld to be and play. Upstairs, I have a laptop with a weak-ass laptop that I use to shell into this computer so I can continue code, but I can't game on it. And I don't want to be alone forever. So hanging out upstairs means sitting in the same room as my bunny, my wife, and my kid, right? Even if we're not even interacting, you're being alone, but you're not being lonely, right? And I kind of need that to recover a little bit. I don't want them to engage in meaningful conversation with me. I just want us to exist in the same space for a moment in time, right? O'Neill was playing golf through the Stargate. I didn't even know that, right? I don't remember that. Okay, so we're not just going to pass the event. We also need to pass other things. And I think what I would like to pass is I want to pass elements if I can. So can we make that happen? Can we make elements a thing? So node.children doesn't exist here. What does node.children return? It returns a slice of nodes. So we can get that out of the tree then. So children can be tree dot values. No, it's supposed to be nodes, right? Do we have anything here that returns a slice of node? Well, we can return the root node, although that's not right. That is actually wrong, and this thing should be removed because you can have multiple nodes in the root, even if you shouldn't. The root node is technically the tree. What do I love about Rust? The type system is really good, Skigama. So it's really hard to qualify. It's a little bit like asking, what do you like about your favorite genre of music, right? Because a lot of it is emotional. Rust made programming fun again. And yeah, the type system is great and refactoring is great. Expression, everything's an expression is a great take. There's a lot of great takes in there, but I think most of it is because I enjoy using it instead of just the merits. And why I enjoy using it is the type system is probably a big part of that, right? And the fact that we have a compiled LLVM backed language, which gives us pretty decent performance if we stay within the realms of idiomatic Rust, which is more than I can say for a lot of managed languages, right? I'm able to write Rust code that would outperform code I would write in most managed languages, right? I have tried it, Defunk. I think that there isn't a lot that I would write in Golang that I couldn't write in Rust. So to me, there is no reason to swap. And that's not because Rust is better than Go. It's none of that. It's just I know Rust and it does everything I need. There's no reason for me to use Go. I know other languages that are close to Go, right? And when I say that, I'm talking about the performance and memory management and all that, right? So for instance, you could write C# instead of Go. There are like good complementary or good alternatives to solving the same task, right? Sure, Go has things better for certain areas and C# has things better for certain other areas, right? But in my world, they fit in the same bucket. So if I have to take something out of that bucket, I would probably reach for C#, right? Yeah, the type system is great. I don't know. I've only programmed Go for like 5 minutes, right? So I can easily outline the idiosyncrasies of Go, but I can also tell you the idiosyncrasies of Rust. So it's not like, oh, Go has all these weird features. Yeah, but Rust has a lot of stupid things as well, right? So it's not worth listing the merits, right? It's all good. So your preference is Rust as well. Yeah, absolutely. Looking to make the switch sense, the job market is moving towards Rust and Go, but Go is sometimes boring. See, that's the thing, the funk, right? I have been a programmer since Jesus was around, okay? And I've always known what I want to be in life. I became a programmer. I started programming when I was young, and I've been programming ever since. And that doesn't make me an amazing programmer. That makes me an old programmer. But I feel very lucky that I've always known what I wanted to do, right? I tried to be in more managerial roles and stuff, but it doesn't interest me. I like people, but I like the pseudo paternal role you have as a manager. The care for a team and the effort you put in to make sure that your team is all right and all that. I like that, but I like programming more. And to me, the most important thing is that programming is fun. And I've enjoyed other programming language. I enjoyed writing C# for a few years, some 10 years almost. I enjoyed writing Python for some decades, right? I think what you enjoy is the important thing. So if you find one language to be boring, then don't do that. You've been profiled again. Yep. I'm okay with it. Okay, so what was I doing, right? Oh, yeah. I was looking for something that returns a slice of node, right? No, a slice. So just calling children. But that's calling children on a node. Do we have any means of actually returning that? Maybe I should just open the tag bar and we can have a look. Do we see the return types here? We do. I'm hoping to see. That's our values only. We don't seem to have a way of getting the root, the children of the tree, right? Yeah, and that is really good to do, right? I did not. Oh no. I did not. Okay. This could be like the face of an alien race in a game or something. I like this. A little bit of transformations maybe. Tinkering is good. And like liking other languages. This is why you should always be skeptical when someone rolls up to you and starts telling you how one language is better than another language. They're misrepresenting a language community at worst, right? At best, they're just being annoying and incorrect, right? There's a seal for every occasion. I give that my seal of. No, that joke was too obvious. All right, let's just get a bunch of notes out of here. Oh, right, that takes ownership as well, right? We can probably do that, couldn't we? Okay, what is values? I always feel like panic makes for good values. We can do this. Just, I don't use assembly is better than whatever language you program in, Kathy. I see you in a couple of years. No, the honest truth about programming languages and how good they are is man, I feel like I should have finished that video. Fiddlesticks. Maybe I'll make it again, right? Because there seems to be some validity to it, right? There's like the honest thing is when you choose a programming language, you're gonna choose the one you like. We like to talk about the best tool for the job, but honestly, you don't know what that is, okay? And I'm not saying that because I know. I'm saying that because no one knows what the right tool is for the job. Because the tool is not a tool alone. It's the tool or the language is the language plus the people using it together makes up the tool. So if the right tool for the job is some obscure language that no one knows, then it generally is not the right tool for the job, right? You could do the group video. What's the group video? Yeah, that's it, right? That's very important. I think, Cathy Prime, this is something that people don't talk about, right? They will ask. I bet the Primogen gets the question a lot. Why did you swap from Rust to Sig? Rust has all this like memory safety and like the whole world is moving to Rust. Your own government is promoting Rust, right? And I think the honest answer is probably, if he gave an honest answer to it, which he might have done, he probably would say something like, well, SIG is more fun to me. But it's like we're not allowed to say that. What do you mean more fun? This is some game. This program is serious business. Take this stuff seriously. Right? This serious business. Oh, that was going to be part of this, Londo. So the interviews were going to be, what's your favorite language? Why is it better than Rust? And how did you get into it? And all these things. It was going to be part of the same video. Maybe I'll do the video after all. Yesterday, someone told me, obviously they were trolling, right? But they popped into the chat and said, SIG is faster than Rust. Here's some they didn't say here's some benchmarks. They said SIG is better than Rust. Benchmarks prove this. So to reply to that, I show them this. Which is demonstrating that Python is the fastest language, right? There you go. Python is the fastest language in this benchmark. So, in other words, benchmarks are meaningless, right? There is no the fastest language. That was the point of the video, right? The punchline was there is no fastest language, right? Well, if you know about Python, you also know that Python is using mostly C code, and people make this people misunderstand Python, right? They say Python is slow without understanding what is it about Python that is slow. And when you do straight interrupt with the C code, it's not going to be slow. It's going to be more optimized than whatever you would output, right? Which is obviously an assumption I make, which is probably wrong, but you know what? I'm a streamer. I have to say these things. Otherwise, you know, the punchline didn't land. Hey, Andros, how you doing? Welcome, Raiders. How you going? Just write performance-aware code. Oh god, I've spent the last few days optimizing. I want to jam a screwdriver into my eye hole after that. That was unnecessarily graphic. I apologize. Welcome, Raiders. You're turning up right just in time. There's a guide on OSDev how to make the kernel in C#, so you can use whatever you want to use for anything. Yeah. I don't... is D3 in the chat? I haven't seen D3. Oh, man. Human, please. We started today by talking about wokeness, by talking about woke, anti-woke, and aggressive woke. Oh, we had some hot topics going there, right? We were touching spicy topics, possibly without consent, right? Possibly. I don't really think about Lifetime Rebel. It's really hard to describe this. Lifetimes becomes intuitive when you make things with them. The complexity of lifetimes is probably reading someone else's code using lifetimes. So even though we can talk about, well, I mean, regions of memory, maybe not. I don't know, right? What a profound take, human. What a profound take. Right, so welcome, Raiders. I'm togglebit here on Twitch, and I am writing a lot of Rust code. I think Rust is a fantastic programming language. Disregarding all the merits of the language, I use it because it's fun, not because it's amazing. I don't really care about that. So let's just put that out there, because I get people turning up and be like, hey, you should use C++, because I've been using that for 12 years and I still never found a girlfriend. But anyway, who cares about that now? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right. So I am currently working on a global event handler for this UI library that I am that I've been working on for the last 2 years. We're reaching a point where we're going to release this thing. We got 2 features, or 1 feature and 1 bug to throw in there. We're going to have global event handling so that you can capture events, right? Sorry, did I offend you, Johnny? I apologize if I choose to respect you. So we'll see what happens. No, I jest, of course, I jest, right? That's the thing. We're very emotional about our programming languages, our editors, the number of spaces and tabs and all these things, right? We're very emotional about this stuff. Oh man, that sounds really, really like a lot of fun. You know what? I never understood Docker, right? Because no, I was gonna make a bad joke, but you know what? I'm not going to. Docker is great. I was gonna make a bad joke. Let's just move on. Okay, so what are these values supposed to be? It's supposed to be a mutable reference to a genslab, which in other words would be tree.values. However, we can't do this because this would take ownership. So we're gonna have to get this to do something else. Is this used anywhere? It is. When we reset the tree. Oh, right. Okay, well, why don't we introduce values mute then? So we're gonna get ourselves some values, and we're gonna get ourselves some values mute. Have a mutable reference to self, otherwise you can't return anything. And snap. All right. Mutable reference spelling to all the values in the tree. Whoops. The tree. I'm not bad at typing, I'm just really bad at spelling. All right, so now we have that. Right. Hello, Excel. How are you? Okay, no. So we're gonna change the name of this thing to rename this. And it's going to return a reference to nodes, and it's going to return a mutable reference to tree values. Not to be confused with 3 values, because that's when you only have 3 of them. We have an undetermined amount of values here. T, not to be confused with 3 as well. That's going to be self layout. That's supposed to be a bracket, and a mutable reference to self values, or vacues if you're so inclined. Split values and structure. Right. So, oh yeah, what are you talking about? This needs to be mutable, obviously. Right. So then here we're gonna get nodes and values, or values if you want. Right. Whoops, there's not A in there, right? I will do that, mate. Thank you for remembering. That's very, very nice of you. I am the funk. I am using i3. I find it really difficult to not use tiling window managers, right? I used to use cascading window manager, but it was impossible to get a date. Okay, I'm going to stop making those jokes now. Whoops, I just punched the light. All because I wasn't using my clamp, okay? All right, so we can now produce the elements. So we can pass in elements here, which makes life improve a lot. It looked at me funny, you know. I kind of feel like sometimes you just have to take a powerful, aggressive stance towards lamps, right? Think you brighter than me? Okay, so we're doing kind of that here, but we're doing it based on the path. So technically, I could have done this. Thank you for the follow. I could have done this instead by just passing in the roots here, couldn't I? Oh, no, you can't, because you get nothing when you return an empty path. Okay, well, then we're good. I know, right? You cannot let the lamps get the better of you, right? Be like, lamp, you're not going to have a bright future here. We're getting into dad joke territory with this stuff, right? I'm just going to walk away from some of these things now. All right, so what do we need to inject into this thing, right? We need to have elements. That's elements what? Tree and can we do this, or am I gonna get in trouble for doing that? Oh, Okay, we'll do this. All right, we're gonna grab this thing. And then we're gonna grab this thing here. And then we're gonna say event is equal to this thing here. Ooh, all right, so then we can just return that here, and we don't need any of this code, right? Beauty. Although that seems oddly sus. What are you? You are an event. Okay, event. There you go. Nothing that can't be solved with an @ sign. So if we do Control C and we don't get an event back, and these are kind of doing the same thing, I think we need to actually handle this thing, right? But we'll get to that one, right? A generator has been in Rust for a very long time, and they have been unstable for a very long time. If you need to do something with generators, you can solve most of it with iterators, but it's a little bit more cumbersome, right? The @ sign means bind whatever is on the right-hand side of the @ sign to this thing. So if we were to inspect what this thing is, it would be some event stop, right? It's almost like saying event is equal to this part, right? Thank you for the follow. But if we get a stop event, we are supposed to, unsurprisingly, stop, but we don't. So we're gonna panic here. Oops. Wrong order. Yeah, we can do that for now. Exactly for that reason, Londo. So so we could do this instead. Instead of doing that, but I find that that's just annoying to do. And if we have an event, then everything's fine. It means it wasn't consumed by anything. Then we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do this again. Actually, we probably don't need to do this, do we? Do you need an event? Yes, you do. So we could write this as if let some event is equal to event. No, we still have to assign an event. Okay, whatevs. Let's just go with this thing. Right? Global handle the channel. Let's see what else we're gonna do in here. We got ourselves some elements, so we can do that. We don't have state access now. So we only have access to elements, and we have the we don't have the context. We need to have the context as well. Ah, finally, a question I've been meaning to answer will answer itself. That's my favorite kind of question, right? You know what's the hardest question to answer? When are we going to eat? What are we going to eat? And where are we going to eat? Assuming that you're not at home. Difficult question to answer. Of course, the answer is usually milliways, but there you go. Okay, so we have our elements and we have our state. We're not going to have no state. We have a component context, which we will not have. So we're going to have to make another one for this. We can not even have any event context. So we need to make some things available and some things not available. So here we're putting elements. I'm thinking that we can move the state out of here. trying to reduce the amount of code that we write. We don't want to copy code, right? That's some kind of Stack Overflow programming style, right? Don't want to do that. So instead, we're going to do something a bit more graceful. We're going to have a context that we pass in here. And this thing has to become something that we can use. We'll make it a unit for now, because who doesn't love a unit? Who doesn't? So short, so unreadable. Yeah. And if you're a Rust programmer, you get intimately familiar with Shepmaster. Edited by Shepmaster. How do you know it's a Rust post? Because it says edited by Shepmaster. I reckon that we can just do anything that has sort vector Stack Overflow Rust. Maybe not. Maybe this is the one. No, sorry. I was mistaken. Right, there's clearly a Shepmaster there. What about here? No Shepmaster here. Finally, we found the one post that has not been interfered by in any way or form by Shepmaster. It does. Love type. Void is a cool word. All right, void is a cool word. All right, where are you hanging out these days? In the void. Ah, still a demon. Yep. Going to limbo for breakfast. All right. I am void of sense. We could do a macro, right? Macro Marco. Macro rules void, and what should we do in here, right? We just say right. So now we can just change this to use void. And then, because we're extra cool, we're going to use curly brackets just to rub someone the wrong way. Although this thing didn't seem to want to do what I wanted it to do. Can we not? Can we not do that? Do we have to do the whole body thing here? There we go. Right. Sorry, I was a bit too eager. We could do a type alias. So we could do type void is equal to unit, right? We can do that too. Well, I guess that's even nicer, because then we don't have the macro invocation. So we just do this, right? Really? We apparently we can't. We can't do that. Whoops, sorry. Anyway, panic. I prefer panic now. More brackets. Yes, we should have done a const void is equal to unit. That's what we should have done, right? So now we can take this and change it to void, right? Anywho, we are clearly not going to do this, because if someone sees this, and since we're on the internet, they will destroy me. The reason we're going to panic here is because we don't want the application to continue, so we forget what we're doing here, right? So now we have to invent this context. And what are we going to have? We're going to have elements. What else do we need access to, right? If we look at what your average ghoul has access to, I love that I don't have to type and have to spell. Spelling's for nerds. And let's have a look at the event. So we have key event. Okay, so we should have the event. We can't have that. We can have that. And we need sort of this, but not this. We need the thing under the hood of this. So let's go back to the back end. All right, no, we have the event already. Okay, then it's just the context that we need to make, right? And swoop. let's see, what can we do with the context? We can publish. I don't think that we're going to publish. I do think we want to be able to emit though. So we're going to put emit and set focus on a different type because these needs to be able to be used, right? Okay, cool. That's the take on everything. Just be like, okay, cool. Hey. Cool, Catholic, cool. Yeah, have you set up some good key bindings so you don't have to go through too much rigmarole to get there? You can just like bam, and it will just do things for you. Oh yeah, check out this thing. I made a chessboard or checkers. I don't know what it is. I did it in the end of the stream because you said like, you can't do it, you big loser. He said, that's not what he said, but that's what I heard. My internal monologue went like, this person hates you if you can't do it. And so we did. That makes sense though to me just to do that. When I have the will to, yeah, it does take a level of effort. All right, so we have to be able to create a context that is composed of just the elements and what are the things that we need. So, what do we need? We need an emitter. And what else do we need? We need to be able to emit, so we need an emitter, and we need a component context. External state. No, not that one. Set focus. So we need the focus cue and the emitter on this context, right? So we're gonna panic with focus cue and emitter. That's what we're gonna do. We should build a Rust debugger and anathema. I mean, you could build a pretty interface to it, though. You could do that, and you know, that would be pretty swish, I'm sure. So let's just grab what we need here. So we're gonna have emitter somewhere. Whoops. Are we not? Is it on the event context, maybe? Maybe that's how simple this thing could be. Can we emit here? Untyped context. Emitter, viewport, strings. Don't know if we need that anymore. Actually, we have emitter and this thing. Okay. Excuse me for just a second. I will be right back.
All right then. Okay. Yeah, Rust Analyze has been causing a lot of sadness moments recently, hasn't it? It's been doing poorly, right? Okay, but unlike Rust Analyzer, we're not doing poorly. We're doing tremendously, goodly, right? And we do Englishly, wellly. Alrighty. So we need to take the emitter and... So do we even have an event context here? Or do we make an event context in here, maybe? No, we do not. So we have the event context already. Do we attach the event context to these things? Oh no, the event context lives here. I too shall perform updates. Damn it! Alright, I had no updates to perform. Then, why are we looking at the back end? I don't know. Let's go to widgets. Let's find these publish. Here we go. This thing has an untyped context that contains the emitter and the viewport and strings. That's almost good enough. If we can now move the associated functions, the focus queue, into the untyped context, I think that would be better. Then this is no longer copy, and then it should not be clone. So then this will be inner, maybe? Focus queue goes away from there and is added here. No, it isn't. It goes away from here, but where do we add it? All right, focus queue. And not on the event context then. Ow! I remember that, Lando. Can we take the focus queue away from you? We'll take it away. Then we have to pass the focus queue in here. And what did you, focus queue, used to look like? All right, so then we're going to have the focus queue here. But not there. So what is this untyped context used for? Oh, it's on the event context. So the untyped context exists on the event context. Okay, that should be reasonably fine.
So the focus queue comes from the event context then. It's private. We'll make it not so private. Whoops. Ah, you can't move it out now. Yes, Londo. So we never give focus to that because the focus should only be on the buttons. There is no reason to send events to the parent. So you don't have to do the additional tabs when I fix the bug. Oh, damn it. This one got through. Bye. I am kidding. And it's almost done. I'm just making it nicer. Yeah, I've banned so many of these. I gotta put my watch on. I have to be prepared. I have to go to the doctor's later on today for just a standard checkup. It's nothing serious. Okay, so we can't do event context here because it's not copy. Could we borrow the event context, maybe? Oh, that's what that is. How annoying. That's because we need different states. That's right. I gotta make sure that they don't run anything stupid on their machines. Oh, fiddlesticks. Okay, so we're almost there. We just need to get associated events into this whole thing, right? Thank you for the cheer, by the way. I missed that. So sorry. I'm not good at seeing cheers and such. Right, I'm doing a terrible job at that. And someone has subscribed as well. Thank you, whoever that was, even though you did so quietly and sneakily. It used to be that this context was copy and clone because we had untyped context on there. Okay, well, we can just move these things. Okay, let's undo all this stuff. There we go. Okay, so we need to get this up without making a new context for it, right? We just want to be able to have publish, emit and focus queue available to us when we do this thing. Right, so how can we get that going then? It's just so we don't have to, like, this is not a big issue. It's just a tedious issue. So we don't end up with a bunch of nonsense. So when we do this, we build up this any event context and a component context. I wonder if we could just move the state into the component context. So we have this any event context that just contains the elements. What is this thing? The untyped context, yeah. And the component context. Oh, so that's the root. Okay, then why can't we move the state ID into here then? Can we do that? Why do we have any event context and component context at the same time? Ah. No. Go to the next one. All right, I'm pushing the wrong button. There we go. Yeah, okay, cool. We use this everywhere. So, yeah, okay, we kind of need that. Back we go. Alright, so why do we have component context then? Where do we use this thing? In a lot of places too. So this thing's gonna have the any. No? What's the any thing then? Oh man. Alright, you know what? I don't have to put up with this crap, okay? It's my ball, I'm going home. Okay. All right, so it's all this is what you're complaining about. Okay. Wait, hang on. Where's the events? Yeah, so we have to do a use self here. Pub, use self events, global events. There we go. And then here, we do that. I can give you the one paragraph or one sentence for when explicit lifetimes are necessary when you can't elide them. And the lifetime elision rules are actually listed on my website along with some more stuff. So I'm sorry, it's not going to be the answer you're looking for, but if you look at these things, there are 4 of them, but there's only 3 of them that are relevant, right? When you have 2 references, it's okay to elide the lifetime. When you have 1 reference and 2 output references, it's also okay, or as many as you want output references. Sorry, I'm being stupid. It's okay to elide the lifetime. When you have a reference to self, mutable or immutable, it's also okay to elide the lifetime because this lifetime will be used for this unless you specify explicitly so. In any other outcome, you have to specify the lifetime, right? When you don't have an output lifetime, when you only have 1 input lifetime, or when you have a reference to self, these are the times when explicit lifetimes are not necessary. So every other instance is when they're necessary. No, Chronix Dev. Having lifetimes specified is perfectly fine. It's a way to help the compiler understand what you do. It helps, I have found, and I like to preach this every now and then. It helps to think about lifetimes as something that has a visibility only in the signature, right? So when you're thinking and reasoning about lifetimes, look at the function signature, not at the function body. Yes, in the function body is where you use the lifetimes, but where you declare the lifetimes and the rules around them is here. That did not help you at all. I'm pretty confident. I kind of apologize for that. I just have to finish this before we can get into it. So I might not have time to get into it today. Well, I might have time to get into it today, but just not doing this stream. Okay, event context is more private than global event. Yeah. So we have to, okay, I understand what the issue is, right? So these warnings are non-issues then. Okay, then we just have to get associated events and an emitter, not associated event, focus queue and emitter into a particular context for this thing, right? So what should we call this global events? We can have something called pubstruct global context. Now that's a really bad name, so we're gonna chuck our tools up here, and we're gonna have associated focus queue, which is a mutable reference, which needs a lifetime to foc as queue. Do you have a lifetime? Yes, you do. And then we're going to need emitter, which does not have to be mutable. And then if we're going to use a lifetime there, we have to annotate the lifetime here. Speaking of lifetimes, right? Shouldn't the ownership rules cover cases where an explicit lifetime wouldn't be needed? So this is all about balance and trade-off, Chronix. Sometimes you cannot. Sometimes it is unclear to the compiler which lifetime you need. So you have to help by specifying which lifetime you need for it to know which lifetime you need. And sometimes, playing with my clamp, sometimes you could have figured out the lifetimes, but the lifetimes are there to help the programmer, not the compiler always, right? They're there for our benefit too. So in this case, it might seem a little bit silly to annotate lifetimes. What we're saying here is that this global context cannot outlive this lifetime. That's all we're saying here. So no matter what lifetime we put in here, the same rules apply. But these lifetimes might be different, right? There might be different lifetime rules. We might not be able to say that the focus queue holds values that should only live for this runtime. Maybe the focus queue holds values that should outlive this, right? That's a bit of an odd one to say. Yeah, let's get into it afterwards. So the global context is going to have the focus queue and the emitter. Now, if we can make this go away, we are going to do that. Okay, so let's go here. Let's go to this. Let's slap a global context on there. And then where we have the emitter, we're going to get rid of this thing. And where we have the focus queue, we're going to get rid of that thing. And that should be static, by the way. I could clearly see now. All right, so now we baroque a lot. Whoopsie. So let's go and fix these. So emitter. It doesn't have a long way to go. It will never get there. And that's not a dig at C++. It's just never going to get there. There are countless talks and papers talking about how we'll never get there. It's not possible. And that's not a bad thing, right? C++ doesn't have to become Rust. Okay, let's see. One of these should hold the global context then. Like that. They could, and they are, but it will never be the same. It never have the same safety as Rust. This is a conversation that's been going on in the various C++ and Rust communities for many years. Global context. Then we're gonna put the global context here. There we go. Different mountaintops. Okay, so we need to pass in a global context here, I think. What is self? Self is context. And what is this? Component context. When someone says ranges and talk about C++ and Rust these days, I don't know if they're talking about Rust ranges or C++ ranges. Because they're very different things to my understanding, which is very lacking. No focus queue here. Let's take that out then. Ow! There we go. What is this context? Okay. Do we have? No, we don't have any of them here. Damn. Don't know anything about WebAssembly craze. I know there's, I mean, you can target WebAssembly with both Rust and C++, and people are doing both. So I guess it's all good. It happens, Chronix. It happens. All right, this function takes 3 arguments. It needs a global context. All right. Maybe we can just make a new one here, since these are public. Now, where do we get the focus queue from? Does the any event context have a focus queue? No, it had, but it doesn't anymore. Oh, where did that go then? Where did it used to be? Oh, why is this so messy? It's a messy Bessie, because I don't know where things live. That's why. And then you get to SIG's for loops, where you have like a Rust-looking Lambda pipe setup going on, right? Can we put the global context on the any event context, maybe? No, I don't think we can. Oh, what a beautiful mess this is. We're so close to finishing global events. I think that's fine, Chronex. I can't ever think of an interview I've done with someone where they said, I don't remember, I have to look it up. Where I felt like, oh, really? Pleb, hang up. The emitter is a non-issue. It's the focus cue. Let's get the emitter in here first. No, let's find this thing, okay? Let's find this thing. You gotta find me here. All right. We're just trying to get some values to exist together in some place. And I am struggling with this. Where is the events? There we go. Yeah, I mean, you just have to have a generic conversation with someone to know whether they're actually full of beans or not, right? It doesn't matter if they forgot some syntax. What? No, you are allowed to look things up. There's no reason for people to memorize a bunch of stuff that you don't have to memorize. That doesn't show that you're a good developer. That just shows that you're good at memorizing things, right? I know where a lot of things are in the standard library because don't use autocomplete. That doesn't mean that I'm better than someone who has to look up where vector Q is or where ordering for atomics are, right? Yeah, once you're like through the filtering process of looking at CVs and stuff, and dismissed everyone who doesn't like the same music like that you do, right? Because that's what you put in the CV. Then you end up with a fistful of candidates, and then you talk with them, and you very quickly get a feel for useful and useless individuals, right? The reason I don't intentionally memorize where things are and what syntax is, I memorize it by just using it, right? But there's no reason to memorize where things are and everything. You know what to do, right? But that just sounds like a bad interview, right? Because that's not reflecting what a programming job is unless you're working. So there are certain jobs where you have to work offline. You're not allowed to have internet access where you work. But then you're gonna have your local copy of things like the standard library documentation and stuff like that. But still, there it's more necessary to do that level of programming. But in most places, to not allow someone to look something up is denying yourself the observation of how they solve problems, right? Oh yeah, everyone lies on the resume one way or another. Or not lie, you embellish the truth a little bit. You massage the truth a little bit. But if you're good, you just gotta get a foot in the door and get yourself in front of a human so you can talk with them and show them that you're good, right? No, but if someone asks me to solve a problem that I don't have freshly baked in my head the solution for, I'd be like, I don't know, like, can I just look it up, right? And if they say no, I'd be like, okay, why not? Do you not allow people to look things up where you work? Is that how it goes? And obviously, if the problems are very far away from like you turn up for a job interview and be like, all right, so we want you to do this test where you pilot a Mars rover on this imaginary surface, and like here's how you like program the Mars rover. And I'd be like, okay, cool. So we're like driving a lot of moon landers and Mars rovers at this job. No, we're a finance app. Like, okay, so why do you want me to do this? We find this generic programming test online and it seemed cool. All right then. Oh yeah, you should definitely encourage people to look things up, right? There's no medal for knowing for memorizing syntax or knowing something inside out, right? I've had that interview task Modprog, and I did the interview task, but I didn't want a job with them. I just interviewed and did the task. It was with who's the company now? It's not Money Supermarket. It's not Kayak. But it's like it was like one of those like booking.com or whatever. It's like one of those things. So this is one way of letting someone know what the code base looks like. So that's not a bad test to show you parts of their code. That's quite good. I do think that people get very stressed about that test because you'd be like, okay, I got 15 years of domain knowledge. I know the ins and outs of this thing, right? I just want you to, in 5 minutes, try to show what you can extrapolate from this thing, right? Interviews us. Yeah, of course they're stressful if that's what they're doing. Yeah, but a good interviewer, Apollo, a good interviewer knows this. A good interviewer understands this, okay? This is where you start with a chat. Hi, how you doing? How's your day been so far? Okay, cool. Do you want to go and get a coffee or a tea before we get started? All right, wonderful. So what got you into this thing, all right? Okay, all right. So how long you been doing it? Cool. What was the last programming-related book you read, if you read any? Okay, what do you think about the book? What's like the takeaway? Would you recommend the book? Is it good? All right, have you seen this thing? It's pretty good. All right, should we look at a little bit of code? I know this, this is always pleasant to look at code and reviewing code while someone's staring over your shoulder, but are you okay doing this? Should we do this? And they'll be like, yeah, we can do this. All right, cool. Let's get on with it. All right, let's do it. All right, so could you explain to me what like these things are? And they'll be like, oh, I don't know. I said, don't worry about it. If you don't know the name for things, that's fine, right? I just want to know if you understand the concept. Okay, so if you can't explain this to me, how would you achieve this task? How would you do? Okay, you do. All right, cool. Well, I mean, what you did was basically describe this thing, right? You got it. I can see that you understand this thing, right? All right, cool. Oh man, every time I'm on stage, I don't know how to play guitar. I don't know how to play guitar off stage either, but I think that's a different problem. I think this is quite common, Apollo, right? We all need to work for Togglecourt. Some of you guys I would hire in a heartbeat. I would hire you in a heartbeat, Modprog. I like you. You would never have to do an interview. I know you have good work ethics, and I know you're really skilled at programming. So I would hire you in a heartbeat. And you're young, so I can fool you into accepting a really low salary. I should not have said that. Ageism. All right. How do we get this thing in? Yeah, I'd take a lot of you guys in chat into a business if we're doing Rust programming. There's a lot of really competent people here in the chat. There's also a lot of incontinent people in the chat, I think, but that's completely unrelated. And as long as it's work from home, we don't have a problem. I think I'd hire you, London. I think I'd hire you. I think you do fine. You've worked on my code. I think you're fine. No, we stopped caring about that, Modprog. That is so 2019. Get with the program, right? Okay. I'm stuck here a little bit. I need to dislodge my brain. I need to get my context things going, right? You know who I would never hire? I would never hire a museum, okay? I would never hire a museum because I couldn't stand working at a company where someone is better than me. I'm kidding. I don't think he wants to work as a programmer. He's probably one of the best programmers out there, right? Definitely someone I would say, if not at least close to being a 1%, an actual 1%er, right? But I don't think he wants to work as a programmer. He keeps working as like a what's his last thing he did? I think it was like a park ranger or something like that, right? You can hire him as a gardener. Imagine that. Who's the best programmer here? It's the gardener. What? Oh man, never work for free, Apollo. That's doing it for the exposure is terrible. It's not just bad for you, but you're ruining it. You're ruining the workspace or workplace or work culture for other programmers. Because now we're saying it's okay to do free labor. Oh, by the way, anyone who wants to work for my company will not get paid anything but exposure because that's all my company owns, okay? Chat with the gardener. Yeah, I miss working in shared spaces. They can be interesting, and most people who are there have like cool ideas and want to chat and do things, right? I don't want to expose myself. I think that's a good enough sentence right there. We don't have to continue the sentence. I just don't want to expose myself. Okay. Why is this such a struggle to get this global context set up? I don't know. Can we get access to the required fields at least? Let's have a look where we actually do this now. Here. Can we get this? What do we need? We need the... Come on, brain. Just shut up and do what I want you to do. Don't think about other boring things. Stupid brain. Focus. Focus key, right? And where do we find that? Context.focus queue? Oh no, that's the context. What about event? Context. Yes, you are there. Okay, emitter. Probably not there, right? No. Do you have anything hiding under the hood that has an emitter? Yeah. So the context of the context. All right, so then we can make a global context. With a focus cue and the emitter or emitter, if you're so inclined. Good work. Good catching there. I wonder why it never reaches me, Modprog. Have you ever coded in coffee shop? Yes, many times. But so when I used to run an IT department, I was acting CTO, even though technically that wasn't my title. It was my title in everything but paper, right? So I was acting CTO for a company. And if we were tackling some complex task, then I could take 1 or 2 developers and say, okay, let's get out of here. And we would just leave the office. I remember the first time I did this, one of the guys looked at me and said, are we allowed to do that? I said, of course you're allowed to do that, man. We're not prisoners here, right? So we just grabbed ourselves one laptop and some notepads, and we headed over to a Pret, and we just, or was it might have been the local pub as well, and we just sat there working on the problem, just first chatting and talking and like trying to figure out the problem. So some problems are you need to sit at a computer to solve, right? You need to run some tests, you need to look at the output, you need to do these things, right? But then you have conversations that are more esoteric about programming, like how can we maximize X, or how can we solve this thing without building this and or whatever, right? What hardware could we buy to solve this problem? Whatever it is, right? You sit down and you brainstorm and you throw ideas around, and why would you be more productive in an office doing that, right? It doesn't make any sense. It's actually bad for your productivity. I had a sofa put in as well. So when I had to read a lot of specs or someone had to de-stress or whatever, you could just go and lay down on the sofa and think or read or do whatever, right? We also had 2 monitors that were running an interface that was showing like the health of the product and things like that. And the moment it was 5 o'clock, we turned on the Nintendo and we just had gaming sessions in there instead. Segfault in safe Rust, that's pretty good. Keeney, can you tell me how? Yeah. I mean, like, you just need to get a place where your brain is free to meander, right? When you're forcing it into the context of like you and the text editor, that doesn't necessarily help, right? This is why going for a walk sometimes help. I'd encourage anyone I'm working with to go for a walk and do problem solving the way they do, right? I'm going to assume that the people I work with aren't children. They are responsible adults that can manage the job and not take the piss, right? If you need to stop what you're doing and go and get a sandwich, you don't have to say that on Slack or Discord or HipChat or whatever you're using, right? You don't have to say that. If you're someone who can't work on your own, if you're someone who needs to be in an office and needs to be supervised, then that obviously doesn't work, right? It's not for everyone to work from home. It's not for everyone to work in an office and have that, right? Some people can't handle that level of mobility. They have to go somewhere, be somewhere, glued to their desk, doing the work from there, right? Because that fits in with the worldview, and that's fine, right? That's fine. I've had startup life swing in the other direction as well. I've had CEOs that were on drugs, that were deceiving us, that were lying, which is the same as deceiving, but lying about figures, lying about investments, many dodgy sort of backroom talks about who's going to get fired and how long they could keep programmers without paying them. All right, really good place to be in, right? Our conference room table cost 8,000, but after hours we could slide it open and convert it into nice chronics. That's a lot of money for a table, though, right? Okay, we don't have this, so let's go and make this again. Let's just put it here, shall we? Actually, I don't want to put it there, but I do want to put it here. Right, we're gonna just implement this now. That's some good spelling right there. Yeah, there we go. Right. All right. So it's not Bulov then, Modprog. It's not Bulov here in the chat then. Same messages as the guy last time. Okay, yeah, that's a kind of bot. Right? Good work. Good spot. It was popular some 5 years ago. Sitting in coffee shops working has been popular since coffee shops were invented. You're front a bit on the idea of serious development in the public space. Why? You need to take your brain. If you're staring at the same thing over and over again, you need to take your brain out of that context, right? Which means going for a walk, having a shower, going for a run, going to another place to work, and a coffee shop is a good place, right? Really? Yeah, Modprog dealt with it. Good work. Yeah, so DMs are paused now for a little bit in the chat. I should buy a MacBook instead of this code and do JavaScript programming in a coffee shop. Yeah, I don't know why Starbucks and Mac became such a combination. I'm sure you guys have heard of that. I have never used a Mac in a coffee shop. And actually, it wasn't long since I went up to a cafe not far from here where I sat with my kid. We had our notepads with us and we were doing research for videos and chatting, and it was really nice. I think MacBook Pros are quite nice, but I would never give Apple any money because I don't think Apple is nice. I just think the old MacBook Pro. I had a 2013 MacBook Pro and I thought it was great until it wasn't anymore. Now it's a doorstop or whatever. Okay, so we're gonna say that handle for this thing takes a global context. Yeah, there we go. So now we need to call handle on this thing. Soon my wife's gonna come at me. You gotta go to the doctors now. I don't want to. The doctor smells weird and it's scary. And he's got the needles. The knitting that he does all the time. Yeah, didn't you love that? Sent from my iPhone. Why was that a thing? Dude, Kathy. It's the only sane thing to do now. Okay, so we have global events now, I think. Yeah, I like the development on there. All right, I have to go. I will be back afterwards, and let's see who we're gonna raidify. We can raid Nerdash, who is doing software and is doing Rust. There we go. All right. I will be back in about an hour or so. I'm gonna eat some food, and then we'll come and stream, and we'll finish the second task, and then we're good, right? We start the demo app. All right. Catch you guys in a bit.